let's look at how to do trees in Altair. So to start, right, we're going to base it on the Vega Light observable, which is, again, based on the D3 example. Like we saw with networks, Altair doesn't have any layout algorithms for trees. So we could do the layout ourselves. We could write a quick bit of code to lay out the nodes in the trees. For some of these, it might be easier than others. Writing the tree map algorithm in Python would be non-trivial. But we can rely on the implementations that already exist in JavaScript. So we can rely on the D3 ones. And here what I've done is I've extracted the JSON of the actual laid out data from the observable directly. So I can go and I'm going to go ahead and add those to our runtime. So first I need to start up the collaboratory. So if I give it a kick, okay, now we have some place where we can put some data. So here we go. We got these 3 laid out data sets in JSON format. So let's go ahead and get started. I've already written the code here, and we'll go ahead and run through it. So here, right, we can load these 3. Let's take a look at each of them. So the striped links tree data, if we look at this, it actually looks like our JSON was nested, and Pandas doesn't quite know what to do with the nested, so it stuck the JSON blobs inside of each of these source and target. It's not going to help us so much with the layout. So what we can do is we can load the raw JSON. So here we've got it as a Python dictionary, and these are the first 5. So you can see, yeah, it's nested, right? Source has X and Y, target has name X and Y. And if you were to look at the end of this, I think that some of the sources also have a name. So what we're going to do, right, is we can go ahead and actually just flatten this by hand, right? Or you could grab a little function to do it. I've written 100 of them, and but here, right, it's just going to be easier to write this out. So we'll take the source name, source X, source Y, target name, target X, and target Y. Right, we'll extract each of those from the individual rows. We'll just do this in a quick list comprehension. It's going to work for the size of our data here. And if we go ahead and flatten that out, right, we're going to get something that looks like this. Which is what we wanted, right? We've got blanks where the names didn't exist. And one thing I've done here, I've used the get accessor, which is going to return a default of none if it doesn't exist. So we would have got an error if we didn't do that. And I did that because I saw that the first source name was empty. We can specify a default too if we want here, right? We can specify, get name default, but I don't really want to do that. Rather than none, right? So there we go. And let's look at the next one. Let's look at the striped tree data. Let's go ahead and take the flat data, and we can actually put that into pandas, and then we're gonna get what we want. So let's go ahead and look at it, and see there were some names at the end on the source. And here we go. Yeah, we got source and Y all laid out flat. So we'll be able to work with this. And here we go. So for the tree data, right, we've got, again, tabular data. For the tree map, tabular, we're looking good. And here, right, you can see the viz is already here. I've run this. And to go ahead and plot the tree map, right, we're just going to do each of these renderings in Altair directly. So here we go. We've got the X, X2, Y, and Y2, and the color. So the layout here again was done using D3's tree map, and we can use Altair as the rendering layer. Right, everything here I think is things that you've probably seen before in Altair. The mark rect, X and X2, Y and Y2. Here we had to reverse the Y scale because, as you know, the plotting on well, maybe the SVG plotting. SVG starts at 0, 0 in the top left. So D3's layout knew that, so we actually had to flip it to make it make sense here. And we can also do the node link layout. So here we're going to load the nodes from the one data set. We're going to load the links from the other data set. Here for the nodes, right, we're just going to use circles, and for the links, we'll use rules. So these are just going to give us straight lines. And if we go ahead and look at what we get here, we can layer these 2 graphs on top of each other, and we're going to get that. We also, we get the tooltip by default because we told it that we wanted the tooltip. And yeah, pretty straightforward here, right? Circles are just laid out by X and Y. Again, we flipped Y. And then the lines, right, lay out by X1 and X2 and Y1 and Y2. So just drawing lines from point to point. So that's how we can do the tree layouts in Altair, right? We can use it as the rendering layer. I think you can see maybe for this one, you could see how if you wanted to lay out the data yourself, or if you want to compute these layouts, wouldn't it be too crazy to compute these layouts yourself, and then you could go and use Altair to do the rendering and get the tooltips and interactions and all the nice things that Altair gives us.